Hello, hello. Welcome to the OG Roz and the Butterfly. I am Roz, a Christian with an attitude. Today, we are going to cover the D'Angelo story. So I've done a little bit of research. So I've gotten assistance from Wikipedia and other sources. This is for entertainment purposes only. Everything that I say in the video is alleged. So I'm trying to cover myself because I'm new to getting these documentaries out. So if you're new here and you would like to grow with follow my journey as I grow more and more, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, and hit your bell notification so you won't miss an upload. Check out all my other videos also. I have celebrity updates. I'll be covering the PPD trial, among other things. And if those things do not interest you, then check out the most important videos. The one where I set things straight through God's word. And check out my video where I am covering the book of Proverbs, covering relationships, all kind of good stuff. So, without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay. D'Angelo. I have to say, that is one good-looking brother right there. He has some good genetics. May he rest in peace. I hope that he was right with the Lord when he left out of here. I was so saddened when I found that out because I felt like, okay, Michael Jackson died, Prince died, then who was left? D'Angelo. And now he unexpectedly died. All of these artists were so young when they passed away. Artists like Tupac Shakur. I know that there's many more. I'm just naming off the ones that really were my personal favorites. Jimi Hendrix, even though that's before my time. And they were pretty much the whole package. They had the talent, they had the looks, and they were the whole package. So we're going to get into this. The D'Angelo story. He was a genius, silent, and we're going to search, and he was in search of something greater. Some artists dominate the charts. Some change music forever. And then there are artists like D'Angelo, whose voice, songwriting, and musicianship helped redefine an entire generation of soul music while remaining one of the most mysterious figures in the industry. His story is one of incredible talent, overwhelming fame, personal struggles, long periods away from the spotlight, and an artist determined to create music on his own terms. This is the D'Angelo story. Michael Eugene Archer was born on February 11, 1974, in Richmond, Virginia. He was raised in a deeply religious Pentecostal family where music wasn't just entertainment, it was part of everyday life. His father was a minister, and young Michael learned to play piano almost entirely by ear. Church became his first classroom. Gospel music shaped his singing style, his piano playing, and the emotional depth that would later make millions of people fall in love with his music. Even as a teenager, friends recognized that he had extraordinary musical talent. During the early 90s, hip hop was exploding, while R&B was becoming increasingly polished. D'Angelo wanted something different. He blended gospel, funk, jazz, soul, blues, and hip hop into a sound that felt both vintage and completely new. Record executives quickly realized they had discovered someone special. If you look at some of his videos and some of his videos and interviews, whew, um, he has kind of like a Prince vibe slash Marvin Gaye, Jimi Hendrix, all of those into one. So, Brown Sugar, the Brown Sugar album, it changed everything. In 1995, D'Angelo released his debut album, Brown Sugar. The album became an instant classic. Songs like Brown Sugar, Lady, Cruisin', Higher. I love Higher. And I love the one When You Get By or When We Get By. I love that one. So in the comments, name your favorite D'Angelo song. So he showed listeners that soul music could still feel authentic. When I listened to his music back in the 90s, it felt like, wow, he is so musically mature for his age. He was so musically sophisticated to me. Like, I was just in awe of the fact that somebody of my generation such an old soul when it came to music, with his style and inspiration. Critics praised the record, and fans embraced him as one of the leaders of what would later be called neo soul. Alongside artists like Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, Maxwell, Jill Scott, and Musiq Soulchild. 5 years later came an album many consider one of the greatest soul records ever made. And we're talking about the Voodoo album. And that was back in the year 2000. Don't care for the title. I feel like By the time he got to the Voodoo album, he had really, really stepped away from the church. That's what it seems like to me. It was recorded with musicians. Sorry, I can't stop yawning. It was recorded with musicians including Questlove, Pino Palladino, Roy Hargrove. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. Charlie Hunter, and others. The sessions became legendary. Every groove felt alive. Nothing sounded rushed. I love Questlove, by the way. He is a phenomenal drummer. I mean, he is so good at drumming. And it seems like he can play anything. His rhythm, his timing, he is just a drum master to me. And I also like Sugarfoot. Sugarfoot, I mean, he was a drummer for Michael Jackson. I love Sugarfoot. Okay, so songs like Untitled, How Does It Feel? Okay. Send It On, Chicken Grease, Devil's Pie, Spanish Joint. Those continue to influence musicians around the world. And of course, everybody loves How Does It Feel? Yeah, that would say that was one of my favorite songs on that album is How Does It Feel? Chapter 5. Now, I don't want to cause anyone to struggle thinking about that video. So keep your eyes on the music, okay? Which he made that very hard to do. You can't do a video like that and not be noticed, okay? Because I had never seen a video like that, ever. Not even with Prince. So the video that changed everything. Then came the music video for Untitled, How Does It Feel? Instead of focusing on elaborate sets or dancers, the camera focused almost entirely on D'Angelo. His physique became the topic of conversation around the world. I mean, he was perfectly sculpted, including, I mean, it seemed like every part of his physique was perfectly, it just was all these perfect muscles that I didn't know were possible. He had them. It's like, wow, who was your personal trainer? Because I need to get in shape. So while the video was commercially successful, D'Angelo later spoke publicly about feeling uncomfortable with the way attention shifted from his music to his appearance. Yeah, I can understand that. He wanted listeners to hear his art. Many people were focused on his body. That disconnect became deeply difficult for him. Yeah, I think he probably regretted doing that video later. But hey, you know, if you're being admired, just play along. But I get it, you know, I totally get, because it's me being someone who have also, where my weight has fluctuated, where I'm small, then I'm big, then I'm small again. And the attention you get, the compliments that you get, and then being able to shop and buy clothes that you thought would never fit you. I mean, I had lost a lot of weight at one time, and when I would go and try on clothes, first of all, the first thing I noticed is that I couldn't wear the same sizes anymore. And slowly but surely, I was constantly having to buy a smaller size, a smaller size. And when I'd go in the dressing room, I would look in the mirror with my mouth open, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I can fit this. I can't believe the way it looks on me. It was just a crazy, amazing time until at some point it's like Cinderella going to the ball. When the clock struck 12, you got to get out of there because the fantasy is over. You go back to being your old self again. And for him, I felt like he got so much attention because of his weight loss and new physique that he now it was the pressure and the fear of feeling embarrassed if you can't keep up that look. And everybody, all the girls, I'm sure he was getting all type of girls ready and willing to do anything to have that moment with him. And then to struggle with when you go through that pressure, then it leads you to what made you feel comfortable and satisfied. And it's food. You go to food for comfort. But then you're sabotaging yourself because the same thing that you're using for comfort is also destroying your peace. Because the more you eat, the bigger you get. Next thing you know, you don't want to be seen anymore. Because now, how can you face people when you don't look the way you did before? You don't want to be made fun of and all of that. So I can totally sympathize with it. What was what was kind of weird to me is to see a man going through this. I never really thought of men as having like an eating disorder or the same embarrassment from gaining weight that women feel. And then I thought about Elvis Presley. He was also a very, very attractive man. And then in his later years of his life, he was almost unrecognizable. So it's really hard. It's really, really hard, really humiliating. So, oh goodness, what did I do? One moment. Okay, hold on. Gotta go back. Close it. Now go back to here. One second. I lost where I was in my notes. So how everybody doing today? Wait, here we go. Where was I? So I was talking about the Voodoo album, Untitled video. Okay, and then okay, stepping away. So following enormous success, D'Angelo largely disappeared from public life. Behind the scenes, he struggled with personal challenges, including substance use. He also faced intense pressure from fame and public expectations. Years passed with very little new music. Fans wondered whether he would ever return. Rumors spread, speculation grew, yet D'Angelo remained largely silent. And that's really sad. When you spend your life trying to perfect your talent of music and you have this love of music, and all of a sudden it becomes tainted because now it's the pressure to look like you did in the video. So now you can't even enjoy doing the music anymore because the focus isn't on the music anymore. And I don't think he ever wanted to be like a sex symbol or, yeah, I don't think he went for this to be that. But that's what he was made into, and that was what the expectation was. Black Messiah. In 2014, after nearly 15 years, D'Angelo surprised the world. He released Black Messiah. The album explored faith, justice, identity, race, spirituality, and hope. Its release came during a period of national conversations about police violence and racial injustice in the United States, giving many listeners a sense that the album spoke to the cultural movement. Critics hailed it as another artistic triumph. It won a Grammy Award and reaffirmed D'Angelo's reputation as one of modern soul's most influential artists. One of the songs on that album that I liked was called Really Love, and some other ones. I'm not as familiar with that album as I am the first two that he did, but there are some songs on there that I did like. It was a very different style. He was very different from the music that you hear today. And either some people will love it and some people will not understand it. But but his influence. Today's artists continue to cite D'Angelo as a major influence. His fingerprints can be heard in the work of musicians across R&B, soul, jazz, gospel, and hip hop. Many admire his layered vocal harmonies, rhythmic phrasing, live band feel, fearless musicianship, dedication to artistic quality over commercial trends. D'Angelo's journey reminds us that success does not eliminate life's challenges. Talent alone cannot protect someone from pressure, criticism, addiction, or emotional struggles. His story also shows the importance of taking time to heal, growing through hardship, and remaining committed to one's craft. Now, let me take a quick look. Well, no. Well, yes. I wanted to go to Wikipedia because it has a lot of information also. Some of it might be repetitive, so just hang in there. So, D'Angelo was an American singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist and record producer, widely regarded as a pioneer of the neo-soul movement. Billboard named him one of the greatest R&B artists, while Rolling Stone ranked him as one of the 200 greatest singers of all time. What an honor. In 2025, he was inducted into the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame. Okay. He was born February 11th, 1974 in Richmond, Virginia, and he died October 14th, 2025 in New York, age 51. The genres he covered was neo soul, funk, progressive soul, and R&B. He was a musician, singer, songwriter, and record producer. He also played the bass, the guitar, piano, keyboards, and drums. He was active between 1991 to 2025, and he was signed to EMI, Virgin, JRCA record labels. He was formerly of the Soulquarians, the Soultronics, the Vanguard, and IDU. Okay. He has 3 children. He gained attention after co-writing and co-producing the 1994 single "You Will Know" by the R&B supergroup Black Men United. His debut album, Brown Sugar, was in 1995. It was certified platinum and received acclaim. Critics have credited it with ushering in the neo-soul movement. It featured Brown Sugar, the Smokey Robinson cover of Cruisin', and Lady, which reached the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. D'Angelo collaborated with Angie Stone, Erykah Badu, and Lauryn Hill, with whom he performed on the 1998 song "Nothing Even Matters" from her album The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And his next album, Voodoo, debuted at #1 on the US Billboard 200 and received acclaim. It was also certified platinum by RIAA. Its third single, Untitled, How Does It Feel, was released alongside an impactful music video. The song earned him the Grammy Award for the Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. While the album itself won Best R&B Album, Voodoo was listed as 28th on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. D'Angelo became uncomfortable with his growing status as a sex symbol. He had numerous personal struggles, including depression, drug addiction, and alcoholism, which resulted in limited musical output for several years. After over a decade spent mostly out of the public eye, he released his third and final album, Black Messiah, in 2014. The album debuted in the top 5 of the US Billboard 200 and topped the year-end Pass and Job Critics poll by The Village Voice. It won Best R&B Album at the 58th Grammy Awards, while the single Really Love won Best R&B Song and was nominated for Record of the Year. I love that song. He also contributed the song Unshaken. Wow, so many earthquakes. Seems like there's an earthquake every day, and they're not small, they are big ones, like in 7.1. Lord, I just lift up a prayer for all those who were hurt, just all those that felt that earthquake and the drama that happens after. In Jesus' name, amen. So he also contributed the song Unshaken to the 2018 video game Red Dead Redemption 2. During the production of a fourth album, he died in 2025 of pancreatic cancer. So he had a fourth album that he was working on. So who knows? Someday we may hear some of that unreleased music. So let's talk about his early life. Michael Eugene Archer was born in the South Side area of Richmond, Virginia. He grew up in a Pentecostal family and played piano at the church where his father was a preacher. His musical talents were discovered very early as a child. He was 3 when he was spotted by his 10-year-old brother playing the house piano. After the formation of the Richmond musical group Precise, they found success performing in the amateur night competition at Harlem, New York's Apollo Theater in 1991. The 18-year-old dropped out of school and moved to New York City in an attempt to develop his music career. The group previously enjoyed some notice in Richmond, evenly dividing their repertoire between soul covers and originals, while Archer accumulated compositions of his own and developed his songwriting skills. The group's turnout on amateur night resulted in 3 consecutive wins and cash prizes. And upon returning home to Richmond, Archer was inspired to produce an album and began composing music. That was after a brief tenure as a member of the hip hop group IDU, Intelligent, Deadly, but Unique. Have anybody ever heard of that group? I've never heard any of their music. All right. So at 17, D'Angelo met Afro-punk festival partner Jocelyn Cooper, who signed him to Midnight Songs, LLC, her joint venture publishing company administered by Universal Music Publishing Group. After hearing a demo of the hip-hop group IDU, Intelligent, Deadly, but Unique, which D'Angelo produced and rapped in. After signing, Cooper introduced D'Angelo to musicians Raphael Sadiq, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and Angie Stone to collaborate as songwriters. Cooper then introduced D'Angelo to Fred Davis, head of A&R, and Gary Harris at EMI Music. After an impressive audition, D'Angelo was signed to a recording contract in 1993. Cooper also introduced D'Angelo to attorney Kedar Massenberg, who helped negotiate his contract. Massenberg later became D'Angelo's manager. In 1994, his first significant success came in the form of the hit single, You Will Know. D'Angelo co-wrote and co-produced the song for the all-male R&B supergroup Black Men United, which featured R&B singers such as Brian McKnight, Usher, R. Kelly, Boyz II Men, Raphael Sadiq, and Gerald Levert. D'Angelo composed the music for You Will Know, while his brother, Luther Archer, Midnight Songs LLC writer, wrote the lyrics. Originally featured on the soundtrack to the film Jason's Lyric, in 1994. The single peaked at number 5 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Singles and Tracks and at number 28 on the Billboard Hot 100. The music video for You Will Know featured D'Angelo as the group's choir director. He reprised the role for the live performance of the song at the Soul Train Music Awards. That same year, he wrote and produced the song Overjoyed for the Boys Choir of Harlem, which appeared on their album The Sound of Hope in 1994. The success of You Will Know helped build the buzz surrounding D'Angelo, which was followed by a number of highly promoted showcases and added to the buzz among music industry insiders. He debuted His debut album, Brown Sugar, was released in July 1995. Although sales were sluggish at first, the album was eventually a hit. The album debuted at number 6 on the U.S. Billboard Top R&B Albums chart in the week of July 22, 1995. It ultimately peaked at number 4 in the week of February 24, 1996. And spent more than a year on the chart. Brown Sugar spent 65 weeks on the Billboard 200 and peaked at number 22 on the chart. It sold 300,000 copies within 2 months. The album had been selling 35,000 to 40,000 copies a week through to November 1995. And by January 1996, it had sold 400,000 copies. With the help of its 4 singles, including the gold-selling Billboard Hot 100 hit Lady, and R&B top 10 singles Brown Sugar and Cruisin'. The album reached sales of 500,000 copies in the United States by October 1995. On February 7, 1996, it was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. Following shipments in excess of 1 million in the U.S., the album was certified gold in Canada on May 9, 2000. Its total sales have been estimated within the range of 1.5 million to over 2 million units. So between 1996 and 2000, he reduced his activity. After the success of his debut album, Brown Sugar, in 1995, D'Angelo became less active in the music scene and released limited solo work. After touring for 2 years to promote the album, Brown Sugar, D'Angelo suffered from writer's block. Of the setback, D'Angelo later stated, "The thing about writer's block is that you want to write so bad, but the songs don't come out that way. They come from life. So you've got to live to write." During that period, he generally released cover versions and remakes, such as a cover of the Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell duet song, Your Precious Love, with Erykah Badu for the soundtrack to High School High in 1996. D'Angelo contributed the original song I Found My Smile Again to the Space Jam soundtrack in 1996. Whoa, what happened? He covered Prince's She's Always in My Hair for the Scream 2 soundtrack in 1997, as well as the Ohio Players' Heaven Must Be Like This for the Down in the Delta soundtrack. I loved his version. In 1998, D'Angelo also appeared on a duet, Nothing Even Matters, with Lauryn Hill for her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, in 1998. The much delayed follow up to Brown Sugar, Voodoo, was released in 2000 on Virgin Records after EMI Records Group was absorbed by the label. Voodoo received rave reviews from the music critics, who dubbed it a masterpiece and D'Angelo's greatest work. The album debuted at number one on the US Billboard 200 chart, selling 320,000 copies in its first week. It entered the Billboard 200 on February 12, 2000, and remained on the chart for 33 consecutive weeks. As of 2005, the album has sold over 1.7 million copies in the US, according to Nielsen SoundScan. In 2001, Voodoo won a Grammy Award for Best R&B Album at the 43rd Grammy Awards, which was awarded to D'Angelo and recording engineer Russell Elevato. The album was executive produced by D'Angelo's manager and creative collaborator Dominique Trainier. Okay. Its first two singles, Devil's Pie and Left and Right, peaked at number 69 and number 70 on the Billboard Hot 100. On the Billboard Hot 100 chart, The latter was commercially aimed at R&B and hip-hop oriented radio stations due to the prominence of rappers Redman and Method Man on the track. According to Rich Ford Jr., producer of the Left and Right music video, both the single and the video went commercially unnoticed due to MTV's refusal to place the song's video in rotation, serving as punishment for missing the deadline for its initial premiere. The fifth single, Feel Like Making Love, was less successful, reaching number 109 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Single and Tracks. Send It On. Stop. The album's fourth single achieved moderate chart success, peaking at number 33 on Billboard's Pop Singles chart. The album's third single, Untitled How Does It Feel, became its greatest chart success, peaking at number 25 on the Hot 100 singles and at number 2 on the R&B singles chart. Its infamous music video helped in boosting the song's appeal, as well as D'Angelo's Billboard wrote of the video. Its pure sexuality. D'Angelo, muscularly cut and glistening, is shot from the hips up, naked, with just enough shown to prompt a slow burning desire in most any woman who sees it. The video alone could make the song one of the biggest of the coming year. It earned 3 nominations for the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards, including Video of the Year, Best R&B Video, and Best Male Video. Near the end of his worldwide tour, in support of the album that same year, D'Angelo's personal issues had worsened, affecting performances. He became more conscious of and uncomfortable with his status as a sex symbol. And after the tour, D'Angelo returned to his home in Richmond, Virginia, disappearing from the public eye. The impact of the Untitled How Does It Feel music video, in which he performed nude, and the Voodoo tour contributed to D'Angelo's perception as a sex symbol. His former music manager, Dominique Trainier, explained his disappointment in the music video's impact, saying that to this day, in the general populace's memory, he's the naked dude. He retreated from public life and stopped giving interviews in 2000. According to tour manager Alan Leeds, The experience took away his confidence because he's not convinced why any given fan is supporting him. Hmm. After the suicide of his close friend, MTV affiliate Fred Jordan, in April 2001, he started to develop a drinking problem. As his alcoholism escalated, plans for a live album and a Soultronic studio effort, both originally set for after the tour, were scrapped, and Impatient Virgin executives cut off funding for the expected 2004 solo album. During this period, he collaborated with Raphael Saadiq on the song Be Here, which was included on Sadiq's album Instant Vintage and nominated for Best R&B Song and Best Urban Alternative Performance at the 45th Grammy Awards. Yeah, he takes death really hard. By 2005, D'Angelo's girlfriend had left him. His attorney had become displeased with him, and most of his family was not in touch with him. He also parted ways with Trenier and Leeds, his tour manager. After a car accident and an arrest on DUI and marijuana possession charges, D'Angelo left Virgin Records in 2005 and checked into the Crossroads Center Rehabilitation Clinic in Antigua in 2005. His recording contract was acquired by J Records following rumors of D'Angelo signing to Bad Boy Records. Despite no solo output, D'Angelo collaborated with some R&B and hip hop artists during this period. Appearing on albums such as Jay Dilla's The Shining in 2006, Snoop Dogg's The Blue Carpet Treatment in 2006, Common's Finding Forever in 2007, and Q-Tip's The Renaissance in 2008. D'Angelo's subsequent solo work was extensively delayed. Production for a full-length follow-up to Voodoo was stagnant, as he was working on and off mostly by himself during 2002. D'Angelo attempted to play every instrument to play for the project, striving for complete creative control, similar to that of Prince. Russell Elevato described the resulting material as Parliament Funkadelic meets the Beatles meets Prince, and the whole time there's this Jimi Hendrix energy. However, those who previewed its song found it to be unfinished. D'Angelo's personal problems worsened, descending to drug and alcohol addiction. In January 2005, he was arrested and charged with possession of marijuana and cocaine. Wow. That's a long fall from your faith to to do cocaine. In September 2005, a week after being sentenced on the drug charges, he was involved in a car accident and was rumored to be critically injured. However, a week after the crash, a statement was issued by D'Angelo's attorney stating that he was fine, continuing to say he is anxious to finish the recording of his soul masterpiece that the world has patiently awaited. No more was revealed on the new album until 2007, when Questlove leaked an unfinished track on radio station Triple J in Australia entitled Really Love. The track was an acoustic flavored jam with a laid-back swing feel. The leak apparently soured relationships between the two. D'Angelo released a CD/DVD compilation album entitled "The Best So Far," first released on June 24, 2008 on Virgin Records. The compilation features songs from his two previous albums, Brown Sugar and Voodoo, as well as rarities and a second disc, a DVD of previously unreleased videos. Around the same time, the compilation was released digitally without the songs featuring Erykah Badu and Raphael Saadiq under the title Ultimate D'Angelo. In late November 2011, D'Angelo announced a series of 2012 European tour dates. The tour kicked off January 26 in Stockholm, Sweden, with its final show on February the 10th. The tour featured a selection of hits from his two previous albums and songs from his third album, which was close to completion. He premiered 4 new songs: Sugar Daddy, Ain't That Easy, Another Life, and The Charade, which were well received on June 9, 2012. He joined Questlove for the annual Bonnaroo Musical and Arts Festival's Superdam. He did not play any of his original material, and this marked the first time in nearly 12 years that he performed on stage in the U.S. On September 1st, 2012, D'Angelo performed at Jay-Z's Made in America Festival, where he again performed the new songs The Charade and Sugar Daddy on October 7th. RCA Music Group announced that it was closing J Records, Arista Records, and Jive Records. With the shutdown, D'Angelo and all other artists previously signed to those labels would release his future material on RCA Records. D'Angelo released his third album, Black Messiah, in December 2014. He originally wanted to release Black Messiah in 2015, but the controversial decision in the Ferguson and Eric Garner cases inspired him to release it earlier. On December 12, 2014, Kevin Liles, D'Angelo's manager, shared a 15-second teaser of the album on YouTube. 2 days later, the track Sugar Daddy, which had been part of D'Angelo's set list since 2012, premiered at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 1,000 downloads were available. On Red Bull's 20 Before 15 website, after an exclusive listening party in New York, produced by Afro Punk Festival founder Matthew Morgan and Jocelyn Cooper, Black Messiah was released digitally on December 15th through iTunes, Google Play Music, and Spotify. The album's unexpected release was compared to Beyoncé's self-titled release in 2013. On January 13, 2015, Really Love was released to Urban Adult Contemporary Radio in the U.S. No. The album was met with universal acclaim from critics. As of 2015, it had a 95 out of 100 mean score on review aggregator Metacritic in its first week of release. Black Messiah debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and sold 117,000 copies in the United States. In its second week, the album dropped to number 25 on the chart and sold another 40,254 copies. In the United Kingdom, it debuted at number 47 on the UK albums chart with first week sales of 7,423 copies. D'Angelo supported Black Messiah with a tour called The Second Coming. His band, once called The Testimony and later renamed The Vanguard, included drummer Chris Dave, bassist Pino Palladino, guitarist Jesse Johnson from The Time, and Isaiah Sharkey, vocalist Kendra Foster, sometimes replaced by Joey Gilliam, Jermaine Holmes, and Charles Red Middleton, keyboardist Cleo, Pookie, sample jazz trumpeter, Keon Harold, saxophonist, Kenneth Wallum, manning the horn section, and D'Angelo as the lead vocalist, playing electric grand piano, electric guitar, and even being the band's conductor at certain moments. D'Angelo and the Vanguard Second Coming Tour commenced in New York City on February 7, 2015, and concluded in Austin, Texas on November 6, 2015, with a total of 57 shows in Europe, Asia, and North America. At the 58th Annual Grammy Awards, Black Messiah won Best R&B Album, while Really Love won Best R&B Song and was nominated the Record of the Year. Wow. Okay. In June 2015, D'Angelo confirmed to Rolling Stone that he was working on more material for a new album, calling it a companion piece to Black Messiah. D'Angelo performed Prince's Sometimes It Snows in April on The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon. In April 2016, accompanied by Maya Rudolph and Gretchen Liberium as a tribute to the musician, appearing overcome with emotion and then the passing of a major influence. D'Angelo contributed to the soundtrack for the 2018 video game Red Dead Redemption 2. He sang on the song Unshaken, which was produced by Daniel Lanois. He had previously served as playtester for the game itself due to his love for the series. The game's music team eventually invited him to perform on a song, which was finished in a week. Unshaken was later released as a digital single on January 4, 2019. 2021 to 2025, the final years and upcoming fourth album. February 14, 2021, D'Angelo appeared on Instagram Live to announce that he would be performing at the Apollo Theater on February 27, 2021, in cooperation with the American webcast Versus. The event was billed as D'Angelo versus Friends and featured no opponents. Instead, D'Angelo performed a solo set with shared performances with his peers and collaborators, Keon Harold, Method Man, and Redman, and Her. On June 10, 2021, D'Angelo performed at the 2021 Tribeca Film Festival in New York City for the songs of Red Dead Redemption 2. He performed his 2019 single Unshaken, which was his contribution to the game's soundtrack. D'Angelo performed as a guitarist and the lead vocalist with soundtrack producer Daniel Lanois, singer Rhiannon Giddens, and members of his band, D'Angelo and the Vanguard, including guitarist Jesse Johnson and vocalist Jermaine Holmes and Charles Middleton by his side in 2024. He featured alongside Jay-Z on the song I Want You Forever from the soundtrack to the film The Book of Clarence in September 2024. Raphael Sadiq said D's in a good space and that D'Angelo was working on a new album. In a 1995 interview, he discussed the influence that musician Prince had on his approach to recording his debut album, stating, I was one of those guys who read the album credits and realized that Prince was a true artist. He wrote, produced, and performed, and that's the way I wanted to do it. According to D'Angelo, the hip hop influence present on the album came from the Native Tongues movement, Tribe Called Quest, Gang Starr, and Main Source. In a February 1999 interview with music journalist Tori, D'Angelo discussed on his visit to South Carolina that he went through this tunnel through gospel, blues, and a lot of old soul, old James Brown, early Sly and the Family Stone, and a lot of Jimi Hendrix. In the same interview, he cited the deaths of rappers Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. as having a great effect on him during the period, collectively referred to by D'Angelo as Yoda. These influences included soul artist Al Green, funk artist George Clinton, Afrobeat artist Fela Kuti. Brown Sugar is widely credited as the album that launched neo soul, with the term coined soon after by D'Angelo's manager Kedar Massenberg. The style blends R&B with elements from hip hop, jazz, and other styles of music. Pitchfork defined D'Angelo as the groundbreaking R&B artist who helped define the neo soul movement across decades. The Washington Post described D'Angelo as the godfather of neo soul. D'Angelo distanced himself from the term, saying in 2014, I never claimed I do neo soul. When I first came out, I used to always say, I do black music. I make black music. In an interview published in 2024, he stated when people would ask what kind of music he makes, he would reply, I say soul music, not neo soul, but soul. His second album, Voodoo, is considered one of the best examples of neo soul music by music critics, while it was listed as 28th on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. The single Untitled was listed as second on Rolling Stone's 100 Greatest R&B Songs of the 21st Century. George Clinton compared Voodoo to Marvin Gaye's landmark 1971 album What's Going On. Music critics have called Voodoo a towering achievement, masterpiece, and classic. Voodoo was influential on many jazz musicians in the 21st century. Black Messiah featured more of a rock and psychedelic sound and more political lyrics than previous releases. In 2016, Black Messiah, Beyonce's Beyonce 2013, Run the Jewels 2 2014, and Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly 2015 were noted by the Yale Herald as laying the groundwork down for the politically charged releases that happened in 2016, which included Rihanna's Anti Anti, Kanye West, The Life of a Pablo, and Beyonce's Formation. In 2023, Rolling Stone ranked D'Angelo at number 75 on its list of 200 greatest singers of all time. In 2025, Billboard listed the singer as the 45th on the list of the 75th best R&B artists of all time. Several publications and music magazines listed D'Angelo in their list of the greatest R&B and soul artists, including Forbes, Medium, and Essence. Tyler, the creator, said his musical DNA was shaped by D'Angelo's work. Chaka Khan called D'Angelo a genius. George Clinton praised him as a worthy successor to soul legend Marvin Gaye. Prince said of D'Angelo, "I crave great musicianship, and I don't care who provides it. I've got no problem saying I dig D'Angelo." Wow. Rolling Stone said all three of D'Angelo's albums are revered as contemporary classics. D'Angelo never married in the 90s. He dated the late soul singer Angie Stone. She was his muse for his Brown Sugar album, and he helped her produce her debut album, Black Diamond, released in 1999. Angie Stone and D'Angelo had a son together, Michael Archer Jr., born in 1997, known professionally as Swabo Twain. D'Angelo also had two other children, a daughter, Imani Archer, born in October 1999, and a son, born in 2010. His name is Morocco. By the way, Morocco, he not only looks like his father, but he's very gifted musically. He's very gifted and talented and into music, just like his father was. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets a record deal and puts out music. Although most people don't want to be compared to another person musically, especially like their father. That's when you think about all the accomplishment that D'Angelo made with his music, that's a lot of pressure to try to live up to that. So he just needs to be his own man. But I think he's more into rapping. In the early 2000s, D'Angelo struggled with depression as well as drug and alcohol addiction. And one notable incident occurred in 2005 when he was arrested on a DUI charge and also for possession of cocaine and marijuana. Then a week after being sentenced on the charges in September 2005, he was involved in a car crash that rumored to have left him critically injured. Then D'Angelo died from pancreatic cancer in New York City on the morning of October 14, 2025, at the age of 51. He had been working on his fourth album with Raphael Saadiq. A family member told People that D'Angelo had been in hospice for 2 weeks and had been hospitalized for months. Stone died in March 2025, only 7 months before D'Angelo Archer Jr. spoke. D'Angelo's son spoke publicly about the grief of losing both his parents within the same year. Yeah, that's a lot. D'Angelo was buried at Richmond's Mount Calvary Cemetery following a service at St. Paul's Baptist Church in Henrico, Virginia. on November 1st, 2025. Stevie Wonder, the Soultronics, and the Vanguard performed musical tributes during the celebration of life. During the celebration of life service. Numerous public figures offered tributes to D'Angelo. His collaborator and hit single duet partner, Lauryn Hill, said, "I regret not having more time with you." The song they sang together, "Nothing Even Matters," was included on President Barack Obama's first summer playlist in 2015. Obama expressed sadness at D'Angelo's death, saying, "Michelle and I are thinking of his family and all those who loved and admired him." Actor Jamie Foxx wrote, "Your music and your impression will be felt for generations to come." Musicians who paid tribute include Beyonce, Tyler the Creator, Nile Rodgers, Missy Elliott, George Clinton, and Doja Cat. So, anything else on that note? So now I know that was a lot. So let's reflect on this biblically. Bible, Lord, I can't speak. Biblically, the Bible reminds us in Mark 8:36, and I will include these scriptures in the description box. In Mark 8:33, it reminds us that what it says, "And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul?" Fame, wealth, and recognition can never replace inner peace or a relationship with God. Whether someone is, oh goodness, hold on. No, hold on, I gotta go back. Where? One second. I lost my place in my notes. Go up, go up, go up, up. I'm still here. You should be here. Down, I know you should be here. Oh, I got all the way off of my. Uh, where was my? I was reading the scripture, y'all. What does it profit you to gain the world but lose your soul? That is something to think about. Definitely. Because as you can see, all those Grammys, all that success, it did not save his life. He's leaving all of that behind. And one thing we have to remember is that we need to make sure that we don't put anything before God. Okay, not that I'm saying he did, but it just some of the things he was doing, and he was doing them in the public eye, and it seemed like he just did it very comfortably, like using profanity, um the being the vulgar lyrics and videos, and also this whole voodoo thing. Yeah, you just have to really be careful how you use the gifts that God gave you. And fame, wealth, and recognition can never replace inner peace or a relationship with God. So, whether someone is famous or unknown, every person needs grace, wisdom, and hope. As Christians, we are called not to judge people in the public eye, but to pray for them. Only God fully knows the battles each person carries. So, in closing, what do you think is D'Angelo's greatest musical masterpiece? Was it Brown Sugar, Voodoo, or Black Messiah? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comment section below. And if you enjoy thoughtful documentaries exploring music, culture, and faith, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share it, and turn on notifications. So until next time, this is OG Roz reminding you to seek truth, extend grace, and keep God first. God bless.